All right, now we come to lesson number 4. Okay, tip number 7 says, place the queen behind the line of friendly pawns during the opening. So in the opening, you want your queen in a safe, on a safe square, because the queen is a high valued piece. It's worth 9. Okay, in terms of numerical value, it's the highest. You cannot ignore any attack on the king, otherwise you lose material. If you're not getting the king, you cannot ignore any attack on the queen. So if you develop your queen too early and on a square that is not safe, the opponent gains development in time by kicking your queen around, because you cannot ignore. Whenever the queen is attacked, you have to move it. So in the opening, place your queen on a safe square. So since the queen is a very powerful piece, it is also very vulnerable to the opponent's constant attacks. Therefore, it's convenient to place it behind a pawn, preferably on the second rank, so that the first one is free. Okay, so that first one is free for rook development. So you want to move up the queen so that you can connect rooks. All right. Tip number 8, avoid exchanging a developed piece for a not developed one. This piece, it has moved from here to f4. You've moved it once. Remember, we learned don't move the same piece twice. Then you're taking a piece that is not controlling not many squares. It still needs one base. So why did you develop this in the first place? You were wasting time. This piece is controlling squares in the center. It's on a good it's on a good square. It's fighting for squares. Then you exchange it for a piece that's not doing much. It's not good. All right. So now let's go to tactics. Again, I'll use this one to demonstrate, and you do 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay. Now we come to lesson number 4. Okay, tactics of lesson number 4. White to play and checkmate black in one move. So again, we look at our checks, our captures, and our threats. If it were black to play, this queen would have simply gone to e1 and checkmate the white king. All right. Black for white, the queen can go to g4, g5, and g6 and put the king in check. The rook on f5 and it will put the king in check. Knight, not so much. This pawn can be played on g4 and put the king in check. So I've got how many checks? 3 with the queen, 1 with the rook, and 1 with the pawn. 5 checks. And of my 5 checks, the check with the pawn is the best.
Yes.
It leads to checkmate. All right, now it's your turn. White to play and checkmate black in one move. It's a tactical position, checks, captures, threats. How many checks do you have with the queen?
No checks.
Rook?
No checks. No checks.
If this pawn moves out of...
Yes,
yeah,
that's
okay.
check for now.
All right. Pawn?
2.
2 checks. Bishop?
No checks. Knight.
So only focus on the pawn. Okay, 2 checks. Which side? Right or left? Do you take the knight or you take the pawn?
Knight. Knight.
Well done. All right, here's another one. Another find the best move puzzle. It's a bit more challenging. All right. It is black to play and we have to find the best move. How many checks do we have in this position? Queen?
No.
0.
No.
So there are no checks at all.
No.
Captures. How many captures do we have? How many captures do you see?
1.
What happens if you capture?
You capture.
They
you
take your
capture,
queen.
And I capture.
Check. Because you go back to check.
Check and blocks. Done.
Okay, so you've taken 3 pieces
For 1.
for a queen. You've taken a rook. You've taken 2 rooks and a bishop. That's more than enough compensation. The queen is worth 9 points. 2 rooks and a bishop are worth 13. So that's good. Well done. Okay, now we come to the last puzzle in lesson 4. Checks, captures, threats. It is black to play and checkmate white in one move. How many checks do you see?
1.
1. Okay, then that must be it.
Done.
Well done.